Hi, everyone. Happy solar eclipse in Aquarius and Year of the Horse. In this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about all the transformative energy that is happening right in the middle of February and what this means for our year ahead. So let's get into it. I first want to talk about the Lunar New Year. So previously, we were in the year of the wooden snake, and what I've learned from traditional Chinese medicine and learning about the Chinese zodiac sign, it is similar to Ayurveda and understanding the elements. It just says it in a different way. And so wooden represents earth in Chinese zodiac. And so last year was a lot about heaviness and letting go and shedding. Snakes are known for shedding their skin, they're transformative, and it's also really clear intuition. Now, I know this to be true because as I was studying all the astrological transitions, sharing them with you in 2025, it was saying the same thing in a different way. That's because we had a lot of planets that were in Pisces. Pisces is the last zodiac sign of the whole wheel, and it signifies endings, closings, and the intuition and going into the subconscious mind for healing. So that was very much what last year was all about the shedding, was all about the letting go. And now that we enter the year of the fire horse, it's this very different energy of momentum and of power, which is exactly what a lot of the astrological transits say for 2026, as we have all of the outer planets moving from water or earth signs into fire and air signs. So I just love that we have all these energy systems to say the same thing, but just in different ways to help us really understand our present moment and how we can navigate and align our energy to that energy of nature. So, what does this mean for our year ahead? Yes, I know everyone is super excited for momentum and change and being in our power and things moving at a fast pace. And I really see that taking off at least definitely during the half of the year when I've been doing my channelings for my one-on-one readings. But a really important message right now for the year of the fire horse is yes, let's get things moving. Yes, it is a year to take action, but it has to come from a place of grounded intention and having a solid foundation. So, right now, if all these things were to come into your life and change, but you didn't have that solid foundation, it would feel like chaos. It would feel kind of like you're being ruled by your life. And think about the metaphor of a horse. If you worked with a horse before, if you can kind of just imagine, if you are not super clear and specific of with your horse and speaking and communicating, the horse is going to fling you off and go off on its own because it can respond to your energy if you have self-doubt, if you're kind of wishy-washy with your boundaries. So this year is asking you for to be really clear and focused with your intentions and where you're putting your energy. So boundaries is going to be a huge thing. Now there's two sides to learning about boundaries. A message that I got a lot last year about boundaries is actually, we've kind of gone on one end where we've protected ourselves so much that we've built walls that we've kind of closed ourselves off from taking the next step because we're afraid of letting our walls down again, letting ourselves be vulnerable, and then getting hurt again. So there is one side of that to boundaries. There is going to need to be an unveiling and letting go of that protective layer that you've held on in order for this momentum to take place. Now, on the other side of that, you also really have to see that your energy is the highest form of currency that you have in this lifetime. Your time, your energy, and people being with you. This could be your personal relationships. This could be how you spend your energy on a day-to-day basis. This could also be where you spend your energy and your business. And when you start to get really clear on where you want to focus your energy, sometimes it could feel like the subtlest of changes of, okay, like I really could go to that event. It's not that big of a deal. However, when you speak so clearly to the universe of I could go to the event, but I'm choosing not to because I want to be so conscious of where I'm putting my energy, and something about that feels unaligned, and I know my energy would be better directed for me if I do this other thing for myself. That is definitely going to be a huge thing taking off this year. So being really clear and focused on where you put your energy. And the good news is that you know what that is already because you've had a full year of really tuning into your intuition. Last year was a lot of inward growth of what feels right for me. Where is my intuition? Practicing your intuitive gifts. I know everyone that I certified for the Reiki certifications, that was your lesson last year, right? Was like learning your intuitive gifts and strengthening them. Now this year, they're going to be put to test of, okay, how can I really trust my intuition and know that action that I take has to come from that divine inspiration. It has to come from my intuition of what feels right and true for me. That is when you're going to feel the momentum in the most alignment. When you are feeling the momentum, but in a chaotic way, that's when you know you need to realign with your intuition. Now, another message that I got with kind of the year of the horse and this momentum is before we do take off and all these changes take place, which really feel close to a lot of people. Like as I'm tuning into everyone's energies for the one-on-one readings, I've been seeing like lots of luck, lots of opportunities are kind of just like circling people. So I know that can feel kind of annoying because it's kind of like, well, if it's circling me and I want it, why isn't it here yet? And there's a reason for it. The universe wants you to feel prepared and like you can handle that energy because it is going to be a different type of energy that was going to require you to step into your power more. And so, you stepping into your power is knowing that you have a solid foundation of being grounded in your body, of connected to your inner peace, and being able to have sovereignty over the choices that you make in your life. So if this foundations are not set for you, then it's going to delay those changes and those luck and opportunities coming in. So right now, it is a lot about still nurturing yourself. What are the things where you're putting your energy that truly need to take care of yourself? This can come down to diet. This can come down to certain habits that you're having. This can come down to certain relationships that you're around. Notice how you're feeling in these states. The things that feel heavy, that don't feel good, that bring shame and guilt, maybe not instantaneously in the moment, but later on after you feel those negative emotions, that is telling you what wants to be shed and what wants to be let go. And so now is the time to really let those things go and to build this solid foundation of nurturing and taking care of yourself. Because when the momentum comes, again, like it's going to be full speed ahead. And it's so important that you have your resources and you have this clear state of inner peace. Now, another part of building this solid foundation, and this is a message that I probably say in every podcast and channel reading that I do, is to maintain your state of inner peace. So, truly, our goal here as yogis, as conscious beings, is to tap into the conscious field as often as we can. And when I mean the conscious field, I mean that state where we're not reactive, where we can feel something that may be really charged and maybe we feel anger or we feel something, but we don't let that affect and rule our next action steps. Instead, we let that charge run through us. We feel it, we surrender to it. And then when we're in that calm and peaceful state, then we can respond and we can take action from that place. So this is why meditation is so great and yoga, because it literally slows down time so that we're able to catch that. Oh, I'm feeling angry. Not I am angry. I'm about to clench my fists and sock someone in the face or something like that. Obviously, I know none of you would do that, but just that feeling and that urge to do that is where the shift is really going to happen. So, if you already have a meditation practice, if you're already doing yoga, then it's time to take it to the next level. How can you take that skill and that practice of consciousness and add it into more areas of your life? So, you're not just doing it in the morning or when you go to your yoga class, but you're practicing it in more aspects of your life. I wrote a whole article on this on my Substack. So, if you're feeling this, especially of like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling kind of stagnant. Like I have meditation and yoga and all these practices, but like nothing's changing. I wrote a full Substack article on how you can take that practice the next level, and you can follow me for free on Substack. Okay, so now that we kind of covered the year of the fire horse, which is like super interchangeable with what's happening cosmically this year for us, is like that momentum and that change. Right now, we are also in eclipse season. So that started yesterday. Well, I'm recording this on a Wednesday. You'll probably hear this on a Friday, but this happened on February 17th. And this is the start of eclipse season, the first one of the year. Eclipse seasons are known as to bring on fated events. And they started with the solar eclipse, and it's going to end with the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo in the beginning weeks of March. Eclipse cycles are known as fated events because they're ruled by the north node and the south node of the moon. It's when the moon, the earth, and the sun all come in alignment, and the moon's points of the north node and the south node, they bring on fated events for this reason. So the north node is your destiny. It's what you desire in this lifetime. It's what you're kind of going towards. It's what you're drawn to. It's like you're never going to be fulfilled in this lifetime unless you're actually going towards that thing. And it's very specific for all of us. We also have our south node, and our south node is what ties us to Earth, what keeps us incarnating again and again and again. It's these certain cycles and patterns that cling us to our ego identities that ultimately we want to be free and liberated from. So we feel these two polar opposite energies of what we're going towards, what we're trying to, and yet we feel the shackles and chains from our south node of, oh, my wound is still holding me back and keeping me in the cycle. Why eclipse seasons are so amazing is because they initiate your destiny and they initiate what needs to be let go of. So sometimes, because that south node hits for you, the universe will take away things that are no longer needed. So if there's a certain part of your identity that needs to go that you haven't let go of yet, the universe is going to handle it for you in the eclipse season if it feels that you're ready. So sometimes we get these messages during eclipse seasons that it feels like the rug is being pulled out from underneath us. Something that you thought was a part of your identity that you thought was meant for you was taken away. And I know how heartbreaking this can be in the moment, but ultimately, if it's happening during this time, and again, the eclipse season is just the initiator for it, it's just the trigger for the next 6 months ahead of like where this energy is going. So you may get more events that clarify what needs to be released. It doesn't need to just happen within the 6 week period of the eclipse season. But if something gets taken away from you, the quicker you can say, wow, I trust that the universe is taking this away from me because it is for my greatest and highest good, and this is ready to be taken from my life, the quicker you can be pulled towards your destiny and draw in what was really meant for you. And a lot of times when I work with people when they're in this mode and then something gets taken away from them and they were blindsided from it, there is that heartbreak, there is that grief, which is totally valid, and stay with that feeling as much as you need to process it. And I also know, and I have to remind them, I know in the moment it's so hard for them to recognize, but if that's being taken away from you, it's only because the universe wants to give you something better. And I know that can seem kind of Pollyanna and like I'm creating this like crazy positive la la land world, but truly that is how the world works. You have to believe that. Is if something gets taken away from you, it's only because there's something better and more aligned for you that is on its way. So, as much as eclipse seasons can take away things that you no longer need, it can also bring in things that are totally meant for you. Luck and opportunities and fated events like destiny. That this is when the universe is intervening because the universe wants to work in your favor. And yes, we do have some type of willpower and sovereignty in this world, but we're not doing it all alone. The universe is there supporting us and on our side. So during this eclipse season, it may feel like you want to act on something, but usually, especially in Vedic astrology, it is said that not to take any direct action during eclipse season because you don't have all of the answers yet. There's a lot of moving pieces and parts. You may not have the full picture. So it's said to wait after eclipse season just to make big decisions. And listen, this is all intuition too. Like if you need to make a decision, if there's something that you've already been working on for a while, like go for it. But if something occurs in eclipse season and it feels kind of muddy and you're unsure and your kind of anxiety is being like, but you got to make a move, acknowledge that that's your anxiety speaking. Take the time of the full eclipse cycle to really be with this new energy and what is shifting in your world, to really let it land and to accept it and surrender to it so then you could realign with it. So it's almost like the whole landscape of your world can really be shifting, and especially right now, just giving the intensity of the energy. I mean, you could just see it in the collective right now. I don't even need to say it. So if that's happening collectively, you know that you're going to be experiencing that on an individual level as well. These big transformations, this feeling like, whoa, what is going on? So give a moment for you to adjust to this new wave of energy. It's kind of like if you were going out to surf in the morning and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, these waves look so different. I need to first accept and understand the rhythm of these waves. I need to see their tone, their qualities, their shifts, their rhythms before I'm going to get into the ocean and actually learn how to ride those waves, because that is you getting into the present moment. So, same thing with the eclipse season. There are different waves of energy that are coming in. They're intense, they're quick, they're transformative. It's very different energy than from last year. So, before you just start to ride a crazy wave, take time to observe it and let it settle in before you know what your next step is. So, what's really interesting about this eclipse season is it's the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius, and this will be a little taste of where the nodes are going to be shifting come July. I believe it's July 23rd. I'm not totally sure on the specific of the dates, but halfway through the year, we're going to see the nodes of phase fate change. They've been in Pisces and Virgo for a while. So if you have either of those signs, you've been feeling a lot of these shifts of what you need to let go of and the things that you're really drawn to, like destiny points. They're going to be moving to Leo and Aquarius. The South Node will move into Leo and the North Node will move into Aquarius. Collectively, what I see as a huge theme that I think we're already very privy to is what we're letting go of is the ego parts of Leo that we see. Usually people have Leo placements. They're very forward facing. They are celebrities. They are influencers. There's the people that we put on a high pedestal. I see that these identities are going to start to shift and fall away and dissolve. We're going to get clarity on what the truth of those really are, because ultimately celebrities are supposed to represent a greater group of the collective. And if we're seeing in our world now that those are not accurate representations of our new collective and where we're going, those are going to be clear to remove. So right now we're getting a little taste of it in eclipse season, but they won't fully shift until July. And being in Aquarius, Aquarius is a sign of the collective. It's a humanitarian. It's what is good for the greater good of everyone. And ultimately, what I think we're going to be shifting through, and one of the lessons we'll learn with this shift is when the individual is so authentic to who they are and really honoring themselves of doing what they feel is right for them and in alignment, it works out for the greater good of the collective. It adds to that. If we all could do that and stay in alignment with ourselves, then it would work out to be this positive vibration. And that's how we can raise consciousness. So, um, that is a very great way of where the future vision can be for ourselves, but we're just at the beginning stages of it. So if chaos is still happening around you, know that transformation is coming up to be released, to be seen, and it's part of the process. Trust that there is a bigger picture that's being built that is totally necessary for everyone. So those are the major collective messages that I have for our Year of the Fire Horse and going into eclipse season. I will be checking in weekly on my IG lives. If you're not already following me at Angelica_feminine_healer. Every Wednesday, I do a collective reading and I pull some goddess cards. So if you're wanting some additional guidance on guiding you through the Year of the Fire Horse and through this eclipse season, you can check out my recent IG live on Instagram and get your messages there. Now, if you're wanting one-on-one readings, I offer mini readings. Once you subscribe to my Instagram channel, I send you a voice note and I do a full card spread for you. And then if you're wanting a full longer healing to really make this shift this year, and I say that to if you're really ready to go deeper, because these are very deep and transformational readings, I offer intuitive readings and healings also on my site, which you can find in the link below. So many opportunities for you for healing, and I'm wishing you the year of momentum and luck and all the change that you deserve in this world. I'll see you all next time.